welcome to the 2025 yearly recap. In this video, we're going to go over every single video I made over the past year, which ones you guys loved, which ones I loved, where we agreed, where we disagreed, and just overall take a look back on how this past year went for me as well as the channel. We're going to grab a 6-pack to enjoy while I reminisce about these videos, and I'd encourage you to grab a drink of your choice. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, but enjoy something with me while we reminisce. I mean, come on, when frozen pizzas are $3 a pop, you can't say no to that. I think either the battery's shot or the terminals are loose or something. I haven't looked into it that hard yet. Oh, got a little squirrely again there. How is that for a vibe? Not too bad, is it? Today I went for one of my absolute favorites for cold weather, an Iron Goat Goatmeal Stout. This is from a brewery in downtown Spokane that I was a regular at when I was in college. We're just gonna be going in chronological order here for all the videos that I released in 2025, starting with this video, which is actually sort of a carryover from last year. Last year, I was taking the engine out of the Subaru Loyale and putting it back in, and I started off 2025 by doing just that, putting it back in. And so let's take a look at the intro from that video. Welcome to this week's video. This week, we are getting this big hunk of metal right here back into this hunk of metal over here. If you're new here, this is my first time ever pulling an engine. We pulled it out of my 1993 Subaru Loyale. We replaced a few parts last week, and now, well, it's going back in. Now, in the year 2025, unlike in 2024, I already had a bit of a following, which if you're one of those followers, which if you're watching this, you probably are, then thank you for being a follower if you joined in 2025 or if you joined before, but that means that most of these videos were not near as big duds as the worst videos that I made in 2024. By the way, I did do a similar recap for 2024 if you were interested in that. I also just feel that my video creation skills got so much better in 2025. I wasn't making videos where I did cable management. Anyways, all of that to say that this video got 177 views at time of recording, and I'm pretty happy with that. A lot of the videos where I'm working in the shop don't do that well, but this was obviously a lot of work to pull the engine out and put it back in, and I was glad that people were enjoying seeing that. A little behind the scene is that this is the third video of a 3-part series, and I actually filmed all 3 parts before I left for Christmas. I usually go over to the west side for about a week every year to visit family, and so I needed to have some videos ready, and this was one of those. So I actually had this video finished in 2024. Welcome to this week's video. This week we're taking the Volvo XC70 on a camping trip, and well, there's snow here in the valley, and we're probably gonna gain elevation, so we're probably gonna find some snow. These are crow's nests, and I've actually never visited one, so I don't know exactly what to expect. Every step is up to my thigh now. These were still standing 50 years ago, so I don't know if they're gonna be still standing today. It is currently snowing, as it turns out. Man, I really don't want to pack up, but if we're gonna get another 1 to 3 inches of snow, let's get the car packed and on the road, and I'll tell you the plan. Now, this video I was really proud of, and I was not kidding when I said it was my first snow camp. This legitimately was, and I had such a blast that obviously I've done it many times since. This is what started snow camping. So if you're here for that, then this is what started it. This video got 257 views since it was released in January, and that's pretty good for my channel. Not like the best of the best, but above average for sure, and I think it deserved it. The views that we got up here are beautiful. I've actually been back to this state park twice since doing this video, which we'll get to later on. This is probably going to be a short one. We're just going over my 2025 goals. I'm a little bit late. We're a few weeks into January at this point. Also in this video, we're going to take down all these Christmas lights that you see behind me. It's January 6th, so it's well past time. I'm going to try and make quick work of it because, well, it's January, so it's gotten dark already, and it's chilly out here. So this video is the start of the goals series. If you're a regular viewer and you saw the 2026 goals, well, I started doing that in 2025 based off of a recommendation and inspiration from Lewis Spears. And I'm going to continue doing that. I don't know that there's too much to say except If you want to see an update on the goals I set in that video, then go check out the 2026 goals. Oh, and this video, of course, it's a really deep parasocial / only interested to people who are subscribers. So this video only got 71 views, which honestly, looking back on it, I'm pretty happy with that because 71 people wanted to just watch me talk about my personal life and a little bit of vehicle life. Pretty happy with that. Anyways, on to the next goal, which, well, the Subaru Loyale is back on the screen. Welcome to this week's video. This week we're doing some more stuff on the Subaru Loyale. It's been 2 weeks since we pulled the engine out of this thing, got it back in the car, and got the car running again. If you haven't seen those videos, go watch them. This is my first time I ever pulled an engine out of a car. But this week, we are going to be doing some more little things on the car. Now, this video actually performed pretty well. I decided to title it Frantically Trying to Keep My 30-year-old Subaru Out of the Junkyard, and apparently that resonated with people because they did click on it and it got 526 views, which is pretty high even still to this day for my channel. I was pretty happy with how this came out. It was a really good kind of vlog working on the car. As you might know, we also did not actually get the wheels fitted to the thing by the end of the video because, well, they didn't fit on the old studs. Welcome to this week's video. This week, we are getting these cool wheels in the Subaru behind me. If you remember from last time you saw this thing, we were not able to get the wheels on it because the studs are too short. Apparently, the seat area for these wheels is a little bit thicker than the old Steelies, and so we need some longer studs, which do exist. Now that's one heck of a thumbnail, isn't it? This video, again, did pretty well, not near as well as the last one. But better than I was expecting, considering it's basically just a vlog where I put on some new wheels. That's all I had that week, and that is just sometimes how my life goes, considering my number one priority is to put out a video every week, and my number two priority is to make it a really good video. Obviously, those are close, but if I don't put out a video every week, it won't come out at all. I'll lose the streak, and I will never upload again. So none of us want that, or maybe you do. Maybe you're hating what you're watching right now, which if you are, the dislike button's over there, but the like button is right next to it. Damn, that was way too natural. I'm really becoming a YouTuber. Anyways, as for how I feel about this video, I was actually really happy with it. I thought I did a great job of making something that was kind of boring, and I mean, the views show that it was kind of boring, I guess, but taking something that was like not that exciting, just some new wheels, and I made it into a 10-minute, 46-second video, and I think it was interesting really the whole time. So I'm really proud of that and really happy with how this video came out. In fact, after I'm done filming this, I might go watch it one more time. Welcome to today's video. Today we are in the Subaru in its natural habitat on the way to the store to grab a 6-pack so we can reminisce on 2024. I got a lot done in 24. I got the Subaru Outback, which you might not even remember if you're new here. I got that thing finished and sold and made 800 bucks on it. I got the Volvo rebuilt completely and titled and everything. That was in 2024. I spent a week on the Bowen Lake Circuit, canoeing all the way around. That was a really good time and just a behemoth of a project to put together. We took the Volvo on a 1-week road trip down to Moab where we took it off-roading in some places that no Volvo has probably ever been before. We took the Crown Vic on the Gambler 500 and broke it and did the 6-hour drive home in 9 hours because it wouldn't shift out of second gear. We also pulled the engine out of the car that I'm driving right now, replaced some parts and put it back in, and well, I'm still driving the car, so that was a huge success. There was a bunch of other stuff in between that we'll get into, but let's grab that 6-pack and get into it. All right, beer required. Let's head home. All right, we got some heat going in here, but it is still freezing. Let's talk 2024. First of all, let's talk some stats, because those are always fun, at least they are in my opinion. We have yearly recapception. Oh no. Now, I let that intro play in its entirety because I am so happy with how that looks. just, I mean, the Subaru is doing a lot of work. It just looks at home in the snow, but just the drifting of it, to come back into the driveway especially, covering all of the stuff that I was going to talk about. But I tried to replicate that vibe in this video, and I really don't know if I was successful. But obviously it is a bit harder without the snow, because the snow does add a lot to the vibe. But I'm hoping I'm at least doing a little better on the vibe in here, though. I am a little concerned that my little camera here is not up to the task of filming in this low light. I have a flashlight pointed at my face, so hopefully I'm not blind by the end of this. But anyway, that's enough of that. I also mentioned the stats at the end of there. You saw at the end of the intro, and I didn't go over stats at the beginning of this video, so let's get into some channel stats. In 2025, the channel got 5,980,566 views. And now, before you think, hey, how are you not doing this full time yet? Most of those views are from Menko's singular viral short that got 4.4 million views on its own. Menko went viral in 2025, whatever the last year was. And so most of those views are from that. These are combined short and long form video views. Either way, I think that's a huge accomplishment. I'm glad the world seems to appreciate Menko the cat exactly as much as I do. In 2025, I gained 2,394 subscribers, bringing me up to a grand total of 2,694 subscribers. Now, again, most of these people are here for Menko the cat. So that's one of the reasons I'm continuing to make videos of her, continuing to make shorts, is because a lot of the people expect that, and plus I love sharing her with the world. She is such a unique, weird, crazy kitty, and I'm glad other people enjoy seeing her. But either way, it's still an achievement, and that means that I actually became monetized in 2026. And I believe I can also tell you how much I made. Yes, here it is. From YouTube AdSense, I made $360.11, and 160 of that is from Menko's singular viral short. Now, back to this actual video itself, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but this was actually my third time trying to film a 2024 recap. Well, the first time I didn't really film it, I just tried to edit together all of the videos to make like a 2025 the movie, but my computer was not having any of that. And so then I pivoted and tried to film this exact video once and gave up. And then I did it again with that intro that I was really happy with. And then while I was editing, actually, I came up with the idea of playing all the intros to all the videos before we discussed them. And I think between the intro to the video and playing all the intros of the videos, I was really happy with this, with how this came out in this format. And that's why we're doing it again this year. I hope it comes out just as well. I haven't edited it yet, so I don't know. But anyways, we've spent way too long looking at that image on that TV right there. So I think it is time to move back on to the next video. So you might wonder what the heck I'm doing throwing a bunch of camping gear in the back of my Volvo on a day like this. Yeah, it's the obvious thing. We're going camping today. And I seem to be going for a record of how late I can leave. It's currently 1:30. We still got to stop at the grocery store and get some fuel. I camped in the snow at a waterfall. And now I also want to introduce another feature of this feature. What the hell am I? Anyway, this is one of my top 5 videos from 2025. This one is just so good. And on top of that, it got nearly 1,000 views, which is the highest viewed so far, and not many of my videos do that well. It's all, of course, a game of perspective. I don't get a lot of videos that do over 1,000 views. So I was incredibly happy with how this came out. That intro was really good. It makes me nostalgic for the snow. Of course, as you saw in the intro to this video, the one that I'm in, not the one that that guy's in. This is so confusing. There is no snow yet. It's been an incredibly warm winter so far, and this is making me really miss the snow. Welcome to today's video. Today, we're taking the XC70 for another winter camping trip. And well, I've got everything packed already, so let's get on the road. You look at that, we've made it to camp. You didn't really think I was going to drink this thing while I was driving, did you? But yeah, today we're actually camping in the backyard. I'll explain a little more about that later, but let's get to the title of this video and get some freaking gaming setup going on in here. I'm gonna hop in the Volvo.
Here you go, good girl.
Now I'm reminded that we actually came up to a string here of 3 camping videos in a row, which I don't know if I was on crack cocaine or something, but how the heck did I get 3 camping videos in a row out? I guess part of it's because this one was barely a camping video. I was just in the backyard, but either way, this one actually did more views than the last one at 1.2 thousand. However, it isn't quite as much my favorite because there's not really any adventure, even though I really had a good time in this video. Obviously, as you know, since this video, we've taken Menko on many a camping trip, and she's gotten really good in the car. Anyways, yeah, this was a really good performing video. I really need to make another thumbnail and another video like this. Also, oh, I skimmed over the intro. I thought the intro was so funny. I don't know, it wasn't that funny, but I thought it was clever. I really need to, looking at these videos from early 2025, I really need to up my intro game in 2026, because the intros from my last few videos, even the camping ones, they just have not been on the same level. And I'm sure that the people watching this, the regular viewers, they appreciate the intros because it doesn't spoil any of the video. But the reality is, I believe, and the views from these videos show it, the reality is that a new viewer to the channel really wants to kind of know what they're getting into in the first like 20, 30 seconds. And I need to do a better job of that. So anyways, moving on to the next video, which is, like I said, another camping video somehow. That's right, we're going snow camping in the Loyale. Let's hope we make it. I recently had the engine out of this thing, so we're really dependent on the quality of my work here. This thing also just has normal crappy all seasons on it because it's really hard to find tires for it, so there aren't really any winters available, but we do have chains if we need them. If it survived that, it'll survive the rest of the trip, right? Now you might be thinking that this car is slow, but you'd be completely wrong. It does 0 to 60. Okay, I kind of thought that joke was funny. I hope when you viewed this video, you agreed. But yeah, that was, again, a pretty decent intro. I didn't have any preview in it, but I just really like the cold open style of intros, and that's what I guess I've been trying to do more of. But I think they probably just work better when it's snowy, because that's more interesting to look at. I don't know. Anyways, this video got 381 views, and I was really happy with it. A little spoiler here is that we went home early. I went home early because the tent was not waterproof. This was my first time using this tent in the rain, and it was a used tent. So that didn't work out, but we went home early. We got out of there. It was also because it was raining so much and there's so much snow, it was actually flooding. Some of the roads were, they weren't really flooded all the way across, but there was puddles going most of the way across. It was a pretty gnarly camping trip, and I hope I can get back out to that recreation area. Maybe we'll do that with the Volvo camper, or maybe once I finally drop the differential out of this thing and try and get it fixed, we'll get around to that. But anyways, on to the next video, which, speaking of the differential...
Welcome to this week's video. This week's really exciting. You read the title. We're putting a locker into this Subaru Loyale here. This thing is usually front-wheel drive until you push a little button on the gear shift. Then it engages the center diff, which engages the rear wheels. However, both the front differential and the rear differential are open. Today, we're going to fix that by making the rear differential a locker. I need to go film some footage of this thing getting stuck in places that it will not get stuck after we're done. Let's go take care of that.
Now, this was a video that definitely performed better than I thought it would. It got 482 views, which isn't bad for me for working in the shop. A lot of my working in the shop videos don't do that well because, well, I guess I'm not working on supercars. Sorry for that, but I don't think I'll ever be working on supercars, not even if I wanted to be, which I don't want to be, not even if I could afford to, because I don't want to be. But anyways, yeah, we got the locker in this car, and as you'll see up next, we got a couple of trips out of it, but eventually it did stop really working, and I haven't had time to look into it, which I really need to get to very soon. I'm very happy with how this video came out. It's always hard for me to edit the shop videos. They're a lot harder to edit, a lot more cuts, because I'm trying to make it interesting, and But it turned out pretty good, and I was really proud of the before and after shots in this. A lot of times, if you watch the channel, you know I forget befores and afters because I'm just so excited to get started working on it. And I remembered them in this video, so you could see how it got stuck before in this certain spot, and then afterwards it could just power right through it. But anyways, on to the next video, which is taking this car out.
All right, welcome to this week's video. This week, we're taking this thing camping. We put a rear locker in it last week. We're gonna try it out. First of all, we need to overcome one major obstacle. All right, sweet. There's never any doubt in my mind. And in traditional Joel fashion, we're leaving at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Plus, we still have to stop and get fuel and groceries, so we're not gonna get to camp until around 3, I don't think. Once I'm on the highway, I'll tell you where exactly that camp is.
Now, this is a little bit of an interesting story here. I'll give you a little behind the scenes, but this video is performing really poorly. And it is of my opinion that drone shots do really poorly as thumbnails. There's been an exception to this maybe on my channel, but the norm is that they really don't do that well. I think it's because a thumbnail like this one really shows more of the humanity. It shows that I'm in the Subaru. It shows that I'm right next to the lake. It's more real, I guess. So now I do try to avoid drone shot thumbnails because once I changed it to this, it actually performed quite a bit better. And I mean, still only got 277 views, but it would seem that none of my camping videos are going to do near as well as the ones in the snow. But I was really happy with this. I'm happy to have found this campsite. This is actually the same recreation area as the waterfall camp in the snow. And I was actually trying to get to this lake when I came out to do this camp in the snow and didn't make it. Oh, and I'm also just noticing that I actually reflected the letters onto the water, which is a nice touch. That's impressive. I didn't know I had the desire to do that. All right, so I'm gonna try and breeze through the next few videos as they're not, I don't know if I'd call them filler, but they're definitely a little less of my favorites, I guess is how I'd say it. Next up, we are going to be fixing creature comforts on the XC70.
Welcome to this week's video where we replace this burnt out light bulb that you might have noticed with this good one, and that's it. And, oh, it's still out. Well, good thing I was joking earlier and we're actually gonna do some other stuff or else this would have been a really bad video. Right here, I have a box of stuff straight from IPD Performance in Portland, Oregon, including something that's hopefully gonna help us fix the power steering fluid leak.
Ah, the naivety. Little did he know that would not fix his power steering leak. But yeah, I just did a few miscellaneous stuff on the Volvo, and actually this video performed better than I expected at 198 views. So I wasn't too unhappy with that, but yeah, let's move on to the next one. This one wasn't all that interesting to me personally.
Welcome to this week's video. This week we are going to go hard and try and get the power steering issue on the Volvo XC70 fixed.
So the part where I went hard on the power steering, that was a lie. I don't remember exactly how this video ended, but I definitely didn't go hard, because if I had gone hard, I would have fixed the issue, which I definitely did not. That intro does make me really miss the Subaru Loyale, and I think before I start on the XC70 camper again to try and improve that, I really need to just force myself to drop that differential out and see if I can figure out what's wrong. It's been too long without that car, and I really do love that car, so I guess after this video, maybe you can expect that in the near future before we go back onto the Volvo XC70 camper. Welcome to this week's video. This is an exciting one. We're doing the Bow Run Lake Circuit. If you haven't heard of it, it's a circuit of lakes all connected by a few portages, but mostly rivers and channels. It takes about a week to complete, and we are gonna go through that entire week in this video. We had a really good time. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, though, we need to meet up with my family who are across the state from me. So this is obviously something that happened in 2024, and a little behind the scenes is that I edit these compilation style videos where it's like the complete cut or whatever. For the road trips, I edit them at the same time as the original videos. And another little behind the scenes is that a lot of my family watches these. Actually, I don't know if it's a lot, but at least a few members of my family watch these. And my grandma commented on this one, texted me, and said at the intro there, she was expecting me to introduce everyone, which I really wish I'd done. But alas, I'd already edited the video, and well, I could have gone back, but obviously I didn't. Maybe if I'd thought about it, I would have. But oh well, oh well, oh well. It's it's a good intro. We get right into the video. Now, this video also has a really interesting view curve. So I think it did pretty poorly with my subscribers when it first launched, as they've probably already seen it. However, people looking for a Bower and Lake Circuit video, because maybe they're gonna do it, eventually found it. And so the curve is kind of flat, and then it goes like this, and just, as far as I know, it's still going up. So this is one of those just sort of evergreen videos that continues to perform. Oh, almost forgot to mention, this one has 979 views. This would probably be in my top 5 if it were actually from 2025, but since it's from 2024, not really. Anyways, let's get back onto the next video, which is why I had to release this filler video. Is because I was out of town. And so let's get right into that.
Welcome to this week's video. We are taking this trailer and that Volvo across the state, about 700 miles round trip. We're gonna pick up a fridge and some wood on the other side and bring it home. Not on the steering wheel, she wants to drive.
Now this video and the next two are part of this little road trip that we took. And well, I guess we'll get into the next one when we get there, but this one, we took Menko on her first camping trip. That wasn't a lie. I don't fake stuff on this channel, obviously. Well, I hope it's obvious. But she had a really good time for the most part. She is still spooked by ATVs and such. It's probably just because she's not around them enough. And she just rather would be in the car when they drive past. But she did overall have a good time, and that makes me really happy. And yeah, this was a real video I'm really proud of. I don't think it's going to be my top 5 because I think there's a video I liked that had Menko in it a lot better. Because this, I believe, was before Menko went viral. And you might have noticed that after she went viral, I started including more shots of her in the long form videos because a lot of the people are subscribed because of Menko the cat. I don't want to like make her the focus because the goal is always for the camping, the adventure to be the focus, but she is just so cute. I assumed people might not mind if I just include some shots. I try not to talk about her too much because that can get a little annoying if you're not really an animal person or what. Anyways, on to the next one, the next part of this little mini 3-part series. Oh, just before we do that, I forgot to mention the views it got. It got 979 views.
I'm spending a week out here working from home at this secluded property in the Pacific Northwest at a cabin that is honestly probably a little luxurious, but is still fun nonetheless. During this week, I'm going to show you how I work, what I do to relax, how we cook. Most of it's probably the same as you do it at home, but I thought it'd be fun to share why exactly I love this place so much. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it.
Now this video, I was actually sort of disappointed with how it performed. I thought that was kind of an intriguing concept, living in a cabin and working from home, but I guess not a lot of people agreed. It did do above average, I would say, at 316 views, but not that well. I have been throwing back to it in more recent videos when we go out to the cabin, and I've been trying to not repeat experiences, but sometimes I surely do, because we do go here like at least a few times, maybe 5, 6 times a year. No, not 6, but quite a few times a year, and I've been including more of those road trips in my videos, though maybe I should include less of them because I noticed, actually, here's a little behind the scenes. I noticed that I used to not really make a video while I was out of town for trips like this. And if I did, it would be camping on either end. Whereas now this year I made a video for the Christmas road trip and the Thanksgiving road trip, even though we were just doing them in Leah's little Kia with no camping. And I don't know if I'll do that again. I guess we'll get to the Thanksgiving one, but the Christmas one hasn't released yet. It comes out this year in 2026. So anyways, on to the finale of this little 3-video series.
Welcome to this week's video. This week we are taking that fridge over there home with this Volvo, along with a bunch of firewood and a 75-inch TV, because why not? Home is about 300, 400 miles away right now. First off, we need to get this fridge loaded up.
Now this was a wild one. That intro did nothing to prepare for you for what was coming next. Obviously we took the fridge, the TV, the firewood home, but not without getting a flat tire on the trailer, of which at the time I did not have a spare tire for. I have since gotten one. We'll cover that in the next video. But other than that, this video went great. Menko did an awesome job in the car, even though she had to be in the car for like 10 hours or maybe even longer on what should have been a 6-hour drive. And the camping spot, as you can see in the thumbnail here, was great. I was really happy with this video, and actually it super underperformed. I do remember I got some comments on it at some point, quite a while after it had released, of people just finding the channel and enjoying this video, because this one really was more of a slow burn. And again, maybe I need to do a better job of doing good intros and maybe little pre-caps. Previews, that's what they're called. But this was a crazy one near the end. I can't get over how crazy, I need a better adjective, and I can't think of one. But yeah, this was the conclusion of that little mini series of the 3-part road trip, and I was pretty happy with this one.
Well, by now you've seen what happened to this trailer on our road trip across the state, resulting in this becoming of one of the wheels. Today we're gonna fix everything that's wrong with it, including the messed up fender, the tail light that's out, new wheels and tires, a new spare tire, as well as fixing the wiring, because before we left on that trip, the wiring wasn't working. Let's cut to that really quick before we get back to fixing it.
Now, it honestly is a bit of an odd decision to leave that part where I fixed the trailer lights in, because that trailer light got freaking demolished when the trailer tire blew, and so it really didn't have a point, because I had to refix it. Maybe I just wanted to show that I had just fixed it, I'm not sure. But as you saw in the intro there, that wheel was destroyed. So if you missed that one, the Aqueduct camping, go check it out. This video, where we fixed the trailer, actually got more views at 194 than that one, so there's a good chance you might have missed it.
Welcome to this week's video. This week, it's a mess in here, and I'm living in here until it's fixed. This workbench isn't much use because it has no space for me to work on it. There's been crap piled up against that wall for months now. Am I really expected to work on bikes in this bike workshop? Look at that. Look at my server rack. Cable management? What cable man? And that's a fridge, and then there's carpet on the floor? Why don't these things have homes? Menko's litter box doesn't have a home. It's just been sitting here since we got back from the Aqueduct. Hell, it's almost May and there's still Christmas decorations out. All of that and more is going to be taken care of in this video, possibly my most productive ever.
All right, watching that intro, it's easy to see how this video was one of my best performing of 2025. I'm really happy with how this came out. Obviously, it was a good idea, not only for content, but my shop actually got clean, and it overall has stayed cleaner since then. I did do a live stream probably a couple weeks ago at this point, I can't remember for sure, where I cleaned my shop again because it got pretty bad, but it has never gotten as bad as it was at the beginning of that video, and I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the fact that I was able to turn my productivity into an interesting video that people wanted to watch. Oh, I can't remember if I mentioned, but it did have 1.2 thousand views.
This week we're working on my old motorcycle here. It's a 1985 Honda Shadow 500. And as you can see, the fork is leaking pretty badly. So I've got new fork seals, new bushings, fork oil, and a service manual, because I don't have any idea what I'm doing. So we're going to figure this out together.
Now this video might make my top 5 for least favorites. Not only did I think it wasn't that interesting, that is reflected by the views being just 130, but I also don't know if I fixed the issue. It was a lot of work to not know if I fixed the issue, and I dropped the bike into my grandpa's Oldsmobile that we took to the store earlier, and that really sucked. So the experience was bad. I'm not entirely happy with the video that came out of it, but it is what it is. It's my experience, and that's what I share on this channel. It's just my raw experience. I don't exclude the stuff that didn't work out.
This week, we've got some new parts and some dental floss, and we're gonna be working on this Subaru. Let's get started.
Now this video was a really short one. This was only 8 minutes and 42 seconds, and that was just because there wasn't actually all that much to do, and this was more of a filler video, as I call them, though. Yeah, no, this one definitely is a filler video. But I also did that breather tube, but I also did remove some of the stickers that were on the back that I've been meaning to remove forever, and I unfortunately did chip the paint. But overall, I was happy with the video. It was pretty entertaining for what it was. But more importantly, let's move on to the next video. Oh, but it had 139 views. So like I said, didn't perform that well. Let's get on to the next video, which is much more exciting.
This is my 1993 Subaru Royale. I've had the engine out of it. I've put a rear locker in it, and so we're gonna go make use of that rear locker today and try and find about 5 watchtowers.
Now, earlier when I mentioned that drone shots don't do good as thumbnails, this is one of the videos I was referring to, though this video did get 238 views, so not the worst by far, but this is one of my favorite videos from the year. Now, I say that, it does not quite make it into the top 5. This one would have to be number 6, but it is just, I'm just so happy with this video. It's such an adventure. The Subaru, this is the last time I got to drive it before the locker started having serious issues. And I really need to get that locker fixed and get it back out on the road. Watching these videos is really making me more motivated to do that.
This is my 1985 Honda Shadow 500. A few weeks ago, we rebuilt the front fork with new seals because it was leaking a lot. Stick around to the end of the video to find out if it's still, no, I'm just kidding. We're gonna find out if it's still leaking here in a second. But also today, we are going to replace the battery. This is a battery that was shipped dry. I'll get into why that is, and I also have to figure out how to use it because I've never done that before. And I believe the brake pads were contaminated with fork oil, so we're also gonna be replacing the pads and cleaning the front brake.
Now this video is the #1 video if your metric is the least amount of views. This video only got 65 views, and honestly, that's understandable. Speaking of dry batteries, this video was very dry. Turns out learning how to use a dry battery is not all that exciting. On to the next video, which is kind of a meme video, though it did get more views than this one, so. Well, okay, no, that's enough of that. I watched it too many times, honestly. I mean, it is my video, but I would suggest going and watching that one. It's just like 2 minutes long or something, and it just is interesting how your brain can pick out little screenshots and images. Here's a behind the scenes thing. So if you remember, we're gonna get into these next, but the BMW videos, the 4 videos where I purchased it and it broke and I fixed it, I had to stay an extra week. And thanks to me having this locked and loaded before I left, I was able to do that and continue with my release schedule because I wasn't planning to be gone for that long. So this video saved me from not having a weekly upload this week. But anyways, on to those BMW videos. All right, so I have booked a 7-hour one-way Amtrak ticket to go look at a car that I'm not even sure if I want to buy. Only leaves at 2 in the morning. Going to be getting into Everett, my destination, at about 10 a.m. Let's hope I can get a few more hours of sleep. Now, I wanted to let that intro play longer actually because I was really kind of happy with how I edited that sequence, though I can see how someone might have found it dry, and that is reflected in the views, which were only 162. But I also just kind of think the BMW Z4, the cheap sports car thing, is kind of played out on YouTube. I mean, that's my best guess. The BMW has not really been all that popular on the channel. I was pretty happy with this video. It's definitely, I can understand that it was a bit dry though. I don't know, it was really just a true vlog, I guess. Oh, by the way, I was also really happy with this thumbnail. I just happened to find that photo of a train that kind of fit perfectly into the background here, and I use GIMP, not Photoshop, and it doesn't have a lot of the Smart Select stuff that helps, so a lot of my thumbnails are manually rotoscoped, is that what it's called? Manually cut out, and so this was no exception. It just really worked out like that, though obviously it didn't help the video's performance that much. As I mentioned earlier, this is like a 4-part series, so the next 3 are also going to be on the BMW road trip. And I'll tell you which one was my favorite here.
Last week, I took a sleeper train from Spokane, Washington to Seattle, Washington to buy this thing basically sight unseen. It has a bunch of electrical gremlins. There's like 4 different lights on the dash. I bought a very expensive consumer grade code scanner, and we're gonna go play with it and see if we could figure out what sensor and such is wrong. Let's go do that right now in a little bit more of a pretty location.
So if I had to choose from these 4 videos of the BMW acquisition, which was my least favorite, it would have to be this one. It was the kind of least exciting, and honestly my favorite part of it is at the end of the video, because the beginning is using the code scanner to figure stuff out, and that's just so incredibly dry. I don't know how I would try to make it a little more interesting if I were to do it again. I'd probably just do all the diagnostics and then just do a piece to camera. And maybe get some screen captures from the code scanner. I don't know. I do think that around this time, my creative juices were not flowing that well, so that could be part of it as well. But of all the videos this year, this definitely isn't my least favorite video. It's just my least favorite of this trip. All of these videos I had a lot of fun making. Obviously, this one, the car actually broke, the water pump failed in, and that was stressful, but it's always fun to have problems and solve them and overcome them, as we did in the next video here. So speaking of the next video, let's get on to it. Oh, but not before I mention that this only got 108 views. Again, the BMW was just not very popular.
Last week, we daily drove a BMW, which you can see here. Hopefully, I'll put it up somewhere. And this week we were daily driving this thing until our part comes in so we can fix it. I've got some belt dressing here because if you remember, the belts were squealing like something else. Let's get this thing started up. Hopefully it starts, and put this on.
If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that me cracking a second beer means that we're halfway through, because I'm only having 2 beers every night in 2026. So cheers to that. And this actually is my favorite video of the series, even though it doesn't really showcase the BMW a lot, because it showcases the truck a lot, which is a vehicle that I didn't really get to showcase on the channel much else, because it's now gone. And that vehicle, the white truck, is such an instrumental part of my childhood. Actually, both of my grandpa's trucks were. And actually, at this point, when I filmed this video, my grandpa had passed, so he got the big C and kicked it a while back, unfortunately. And I really miss him, of course, but that truck was his prerogative. That's was his thing, and he would take my sister and I 3 across, because it was just a single cab, out to collect firewood, and he would actually do a lot of the work himself, which back when I was a kid I didn't realize so much, but now I really appreciate that. Of course, it was a way for my sister and I to earn money. My grandpa way undercharged for the wood, so he was giving back to the community, and he was getting a workout, I guess, and spending quality time with the grandkids. It was just so cool, and I'm really glad I got to share my experience with daily driving the white truck here on this channel before it got sold. I hope that made sense. That was kind of rambly, but yeah. So of course, also at the end of this video, I got the BMW fixed. I got the new water pump in. My camera was not filming for a lot of that, but the job was so easy that in post, I didn't really mind too much. And then I got some of my favorite shots of the BMW driving that I've gotten. I'm gonna put one of those in right here. Just the sound in that clip, as well as driving past at the legal speed limit. It just looks so cool to me. Anyways, that's all for this one, though there is, while this is my favorite, oh, this is a top five video I forgot to even mention, but yeah, I'm so stoked on this one. This top 5 really goes for the whole trip for me, but because I have to assign it to one video, this is my favorite video in the series, and I guess that's a little weird that it's not even about the BMW, though I guess I fix it, so it's really triumphant. So yeah, this is my favorite of the series. Though the next one that we're gonna move to right now is a close second. Oh, and this got 124 views, so again, not the most popular with my audience or new viewers. Anyways, on to the final video in the BMW acquisition series.
A couple weeks ago, I bought this thing sight unseen, basically, in Everett after riding an overnight train from Spokane. Now we're gonna see if it's gonna make it home after I replace the water pump, because yes, that failed while I was over here. Wait, how does he have, I have my keys. How does he have my keys? Oh God, I gotta go. And on the train on the way over here, I did manage to fit in a full camping setup. So we're gonna be going camping tonight. I've got wood in the passenger's footwell. And we're also gonna be hiking up to a watchtower on the way. But that's all if we even make it. So let's hope the car is reliable.
Man, those split screen intros never really get old. Man, those split screen intros never really get old. I just need to remember to do that sort of thing more often because it's not that hard to do. It's especially if you're not doing like crosstalk, like dialogue back and forth. Like you'll see sometimes, which I haven't really attempted yet. But anyways, yeah, I went up to a fire lookout. This is by far, I think, the most difficult fire lookout that I've gotten to so far because it was a, 4.4 mile hike each way or something. And that was really satisfying. And it was such a pleasure to do this little road trip in the BMW Z4. I'm actually really excited for this next summer to take this car on trips across the state with Leah. Or without her. I mean, maybe she doesn't want to come, but I'm really excited to take this on more road trips come summer. So that's the end of the BMW Z4 acquisition series. Next up, we've got a video that I don't know because my app closed.
This 2004 Crown Victoria has been broken for 1 year, and in this video, we're gonna fix it. I got a jump pack, transmission fluid. We're gonna see if we can get it mobile enough to make it down to the transmission shop. There's transmission fluid on the dipstick. Let's see if it'll start after 1 year. You can't argue with the old Ford 4.6 reliability, I tell you what. However, I think this battery might be completely shot.
That's right, it's the Ford Crown Victoria repair video. This one obviously ended up being a lot less work than I thought it was. It just needed, I actually diagnosed it correctly. It just needed power down at that harness to the transmission and it didn't have it. And the guy at the transmission shop did what I should have done in the first place and just ran a power wire down there. So you might have noticed that on this channel, I really like to do a video where I fix something and then immediately follow it up the next week with a video where I take it on an adventure. And that is no different here.
All right, and like a herd of turtles, we are out. We've got about a half-hour drive here until we hit a very pretty road that goes along Lake Coeur d'Alene. And after driving on that for probably a half hour or so, then we'll hit the dirt. So let's get started, I guess. Have I explained who you are yet in this video? I know I did in the last one. Well, I don't remember if I introduced Cooper. He was in last week's video with the Crown Vic near the end where we got the skid plates on, and now he's coming camping with us. He's a friend of mine from college. He's in town from California, and I guess that's about it. If you see Cooper holding the camera out the window too, he's a photographer, so I might be throwing some of his photos in here.
I can see the light, but I can also...
So you might have noticed I let that play a little longer than I usually let the intros play, and that's because I wanted to yet again shout out coopersmithphotography.com. That's a heck of a URL. Maybe he should get a better domain name. Anyway, His photos are incredible. I'm gonna throw up a few photos he took of birds while he was on a vacation recently. They just blow my mind. I have them as desktop wallpapers, and I just started my phone playing, but I'm gonna ignore that because this is a quality video. Speaking of quality videos, this one, with the addition of Cooper's photos in it, I thought it was really good. Actually, I got the initial edit done before Cooper had sent me any of the photos, because of course he has to edit his photos as well. I wasn't feeling it for the video at first, and then he sent me those photos, I stuck them in, and I was really freaking happy with how it turned out with the addition of his photos. Before, I felt it was a little bland and generic, not much had happened. I find it more difficult to film with other people. With Leah, it's gotten to the point where she's just so used to it that I don't really notice that much, but especially with like friends and stuff, they're kind of like, oh. Cooper's obviously chill. I'm not trying to say anything about him, but I don't know. It's just an internal thing. He's not hindering me. It's just my internal hindrance. But after adding his photos into this, I think the video turned out incredible. I'm playing something on my phone again. But this thumbnail has got to be one of my favorites. And actually, well, it didn't pay off as much as I thought. I remember this video performing pretty well, but it only ended up getting 200 views, which is about average, I would say. Speaking of thumbnails, the next one is certainly something.
A few weeks back, we dragged this car across the state, kicking and screaming. It was about 1,000 miles of driving. The water pump failed. I had to borrow someone's old beater white truck, but we did get it home. It is here now. It still has a lot of issues, and in this video, we're gonna be addressing a bunch of those. First up, the yaw sensor.
See what I mean by the thumbnail? So actually, a little bit of a fun fact, you might have been able to tell that intro was recorded after the fact, because in videos where I get actually a lot done on the cars, they take a lot more than a week to create. And this was no exception. This video probably took like a month and a week, maybe a month and maybe 6 weeks, just because you gotta diagnose it, wait for parts, and repeat, and it just takes a long time. And so I try to have projects like this going in the background. In fact, I might have some more footage of this car on my hard drives right now, so waiting to be put into the next BMW work compilation video. But this video, it came out pretty well, and unfortunately, it really underperformed. Again, I don't think people are really a fan of the BMW Z4. They're not uncommon. People have made content on them before. I mean, I don't want to not blame myself. I probably could have done better, I guess, but I mean, just none of my BMW Z4 videos have performed all that well. So I don't know. Comment down below if you do love the BMW Z4. Speaking of performing, I think I might have forgotten to mention the view count for the past few videos. So the Crown Vic repair video got 237 views. The Crown Vic adventure with Cooper and his camera got 200 views. The BMW repair video right here got 95. And so on to the next one, which is where we take the BMW out on a camping trip.
Last week, we fixed a bunch of stuff on this BMW. This week, we're gonna take it camping with my partner and the cat, which means we need to fit enough stuff for 2 people and a cat in here, including this massive litter box, which barely even fits in the trunk. I mean, where is our camping gear supposed to go? I got some stuff to figure out. I'm gonna let you know how it goes.
So this video, I actually do have quite a bit to talk about. First of all, I could not figure out what freaking thumbnail to put on this thing. I just didn't have anything that I liked. I really know that I need to put more effort into thumbnails. If you watch any of the podcasts or whatever where they have popular creators on, title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds of the video are the most important things if you want to be more successful. And while my main goal on here isn't to be successful, it would be nice. And this was an example of just me having a lot of trouble picking the thumbnail, but eventually we came up with this one, Leah holding Menko, and I guess it's kind of obvious that we're in the BMW from that. But additionally, this video, take a guess actually. Comment down below how many views you think this video has. I think you're below. It has 1.8 thousand views, which might be the most viewed. I might have misspoke earlier if I said that a different one had been the most viewed. But anyways, that's mainly because I believe this was around about the time Menko went viral. And so on all the shorts, there's a feature, you might have seen it if you watch shorts, where you can link to one of your other videos. And so this video was linked to for a long time on her viral short, and that got it quite a few views. And if you go into the analytics, you'll actually see that it doesn't have a lot of viewer retention. And that's because these are short viewers, but also because I freaking hate the intro of this video. It's so bad. Why am I starting in the shop? I don't know what I forgot about filmmaking. No, well, I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker, but I don't know what I forgot about making these videos that I didn't apply here. But yeah, that was a horrible intro in my opinion, and I wish I could redo it. I actually considered just cutting it out completely, because you can do that with YouTube's editor tool, but then a future comment I make didn't make sense, so I decided not to. But all in all, I still kind of can't believe we did this, like, and I can't believe it went as smoothly as it did. Also, this was only Menko's like third time in a car and on a road trip that's longer than like 20 minutes. So a bunch of bold moves. It did pretty darn well because I linked to it on the short, but I don't know, this video, I think because I was so stressed about Menko and her comfort and all of that stuff that I did not, I didn't film this video as well because stopping to put the drone up is a lot of work, and stopping to put the drone up when you have a cat in the car trying to be curious and escape is even more work. And so I just didn't really do that. I think in general, I don't think it's entirely Menko's fault. I think in general, I've also just stopped putting the drone up as much. And I need to continually remind myself to do that more. But yeah, this video, I'm happy with it. Definitely not one of my favorites. Honestly, I don't remember how many videos I have left to make favorites, but we are more than halfway through the year, so I think it's 3. But anyways, on to the next one.
This week, I'm going to test my fancy new code scanner. Nope, got it down. On all of my vehicles. And I can't really tell you if you should buy one, but I can tell you the function it has on my 1984 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale, my 1993 Subaru Royale 4x4, my 2006 BMW Z4 3.0, my partner's Kia Spectra, my 2007 Volvo XC70, and my 2004 Crown Victoria. Let's get right into it.
Now this video, I really wanted to make it because I needed to go around and scan all the cars anyways. Obviously, I wanted to see what the scanner could do. That's kind of a tedious thing, even though it is an expensive new toy. But also, I thought it might be kind of interesting and helpful, and that didn't really seem to be too much the case, as it only got 155 views. This thumbnail here actually was like the 4th or 5th one that I made. It was not one of the initial ones that I made for the video, and it really didn't help that much. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's move on to the next video, which apparently also wasn't that interesting.
In the interest of making a joke that no one has ever made before, I am tired. And I can hear you thinking, are you really just going to be mounting and balancing some tires at a tire shop in this video? No. These two down here, these are motorcycle tires. Oh God. And these require me to remove the wheels from the motorcycle because that's how motorcycles work. And I also might try to mount them myself. We'll see if I get to that. As for this one, this is a trailer tire that's going to be a spare since the other spare is like 20 years old. And these two are going to be spares from the Crown Vic.
Wait, this was the video where I dropped the motorcycle into the Oldsmobile. Maybe this is my least favorite video. It certainly was yours at only 70 views. Maybe you were screaming that at the screen earlier when I mentioned in which video I dropped the motorcycle into the Olds, but that sucked, man. This one, it really wasn't much. There's still footage sitting on my hard drives for this video, actually, I haven't seen yet for the locker, the rear differential video for the Subaru, because I did take it to the transmission shop in this video, but yeah, it's been a while since then, and I still haven't dropped the differential. But anyways, this video wasn't very exciting. It was basically just removing the wheels from a motorcycle and taking them to a shop and then putting them back on, and in the meanwhile dropping. It's just a show of incompetence, honestly, in video creation and working on a motorcycle. So with that said, I think the best thing we can do now is just move on to the next video, which is much better, actually.
We're gonna swap this power steering rack out of a car with over 200,000 miles into my car with 120,000 miles and hope that it fixes my massive power steering fluid leak. If it doesn't fix it, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I plan to take this car on a 3,000 mile road trip with a lot of off-roading in about 2 or 3 weeks. Let's hope for the best.
Turns out sitting on a card table for hours while you film a video isn't the most comfortable, so I'm gonna do the next couple kneeling behind the chair here because my butt is in pain. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyways, this video, as you might know, was filmed at the same time as the Stage 2 lift video, and the Stage 2 lift was actually what motivated me to make the video in the first place, because I had to do this crappy job of installing the power steering rack, but I also got to do the incredibly fun job of lifting the car further. So this video actually performed, it's better than the last couple at 268 views. YouTube seems to know that people like my content on the XC70, and so when I do a video on it, it knows who to point its way, which I love the car too, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of interesting to see how the algorithm works, I guess. But yeah, these videos were really hard to figure out how to edit. I had to do some pickup shots where I kind of explained that I didn't show how to reassemble the subframe in this video because it is in the lift video, because reassembling the subframe is more relevant to the lift because I added spacers. And I don't know how I like the fact that I split it into 2 videos. It did just feel like 2 completely different topics though. One is a required maintenance and the other is a modification. And so I split it up, and I think it came out pretty well overall, but I don't know. I was also near the end of this video and the next one I was so stressed. I don't know if I've been that stressed in a long time or ever since, because I really needed to go on this road trip, or I really wanted to at least. Anyway, speaking of the next video, on to that now.
Welcome to the Stage 2 lift of this P2 Volvo XC70. I have 26 3D printed parts, $50 worth of nuts and bolts,
XC90 front struts, XC90 front CV axles.
You might notice that I'm already super greasy and gross, and that this car is already obviously being worked on.
Honestly, that was a pretty darn decent intro, though. You might have noticed I didn't mention before and after shots, and that's because this is what I was talking about earlier. I freaking forgot. I forgot to take before and after shots of the Volvo, though it is made up for slightly by the fact that there is so much footage of the Volvo off-roading in its Stage 1 lift before it was lifted to Stage 2, and so there is comparable footage. There's just not a real comparison of height. But this video got 641 views. People like seeing the Volvo lifted, I guess, which, don't get me wrong, I do too. But yeah, I was really happy with how this video came out, especially, like I said, considering that it was filmed kind of, you know, intermingled with the power steering video. But I guess coming up next, we've got the road trip, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go watch. Why are you watching this? But anyways, on to the first video of 4 for the road trip.
We are off on an epic 3,000-mile 19-fire lookout adventure in South Dakota and Wyoming. However, I live in Washington State, so we've got about 16 hours of driving to do before we even hit the first fire lookout. Oh no, okay, new plan.
It's like 2:30 in the morning and I woke up.
That's the most off-roading I've ever done. Moab is definitely second to it.
This is some of the most fun I've had driving. Tonight we're just heading for a campground outside of Bozeman, Montana, and that's the only campground camp that we're going to be doing on this entire trip. The reason for that is obviously we're getting in late, and I just wanted to be able to pull in, set up my tent, and go to bed. But we've got about another 6 hours until we get to that point, so I'm going to hammer these miles out.
All right, I'll sit back down here. This video, I think it's my second favorite of the series. The stormy camping vibe was just really incredible. It was 2 nights of camping in torrential rain. Plus I have not had this experience before or since. But the neighbors they were having a real good time that night. If you don't know what I'm talking, I'm not gonna explain it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the video. But this one also was helped by the fact that it actually performed pretty well, getting 364 views, though honestly, I wouldn't have minded getting a few more, because these videos were some of the most difficult videos I've created, just because it was so much footage in such a short period of time. And dealing with like that footage, like the file sizes don't bother me, but just putting it into a story I found that really difficult. I think part of it was because on this trip, I was in such a hurry that I didn't have time or mental capacity to think about the shots I was taking. When I turned on the camera, I was basically just trying to document it. Whereas I need to be more aware, because this road trip was basically just for the YouTube channel. Like, I had fun. I wanted to do it. Don't get me wrong. Like, that was the main reason, but it also was extremely for the YouTube channel. And I didn't keep that enough in mind. So I didn't think about needing to create a excellent end product video while I was on the road trip. I was just thinking about go, 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 get to the next tower. And I think that resulted in me not using the drone as much as I really should have. That's really the main thing, I guess. But just some other decisions that I think I would have tried to remake, or maybe I will on the next trip to make it better. Like, just somehow the Moab road trip, it's just those two videos, and I guess the compilation they're just so much, I don't know what it is about them. They just feel cozier. Maybe it's because Leah's with me. I don't know. But yeah, that's the first part. I was really happy with how this one came out. It's definitely my second favorite of the four, with the finale being my favorite, only because it had so much off-roading in it. But speaking of the finale, let's get to part two. That part two is not the finale. That segue didn't really work. But anyways, let's get to part two.
Welcome to part two of this epic fire lookout adventure where we drive this Volvo XC70 3,000 miles visiting 19 fire lookouts. Last week we drove all the way from Spokane, Washington to La Creek Wildlife Refuge in South Dakota and visited our first fire lookout. This week we're aiming to visit, well, more fire lookouts, maybe do a little more off-roading. Let's get right into it.
That's the most off-roading I've ever done. Moab is definitely second to it. Let's put down some miles. We got a little bit until we get back to pavement, and then we've got quite a ways to go. Man, I really wish I had the time to explore around here more. It's just so beautiful out here.
Man, I really did put in some effort on those previews and recaps. I don't know, I almost feel like I went a little too hard on them, too much. But I don't know, I hate editing recaps almost as much as I hate editing thumbnails or previews, because I know that they affect the video almost as much. And I also am not as good at them as I think I am at the rest of the video. Also, it's not fun. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like editing the previews and recaps, but I forgot completely that I got pulled over. I guess I can tell the story about that ticket and how it resolved. I tried to hire, or at least get a quote from the ticket clinic and a few other services that claim to be able to make tickets disappear, and none of them would work with me in South Dakota. So I guess if you want to get your ticket removed, don't get a ticket in South Dakota. And so I ended up just paying it. It's been a few years since I've gotten a ticket that's gone on my record, and so I don't think it'll make my insurance go up. And you also might have caught there what the neighbors were up to and why it was so inconvenient. But anyways, on to part three.
This blows, man. I just wanted to drive right up to this thing, but instead, no, we've got to hike 10 miles today, not just 6.
Currently, I'm 1,000 miles away from home, and in this video, we're going to be visiting 5 more lookouts. We finally get away from all the crowds and get into the off-roading that I've been really excited to share with you. Without further ado, let's get into it.
So I realized I forgot to mention how many views the last one got. It got 233, so the views are dropping as they often do with the series. But I didn't really expect them to drop as far as they did for this video, down to 169, which is definitely below average, which I was kind of surprised by considering it's a road trip with the XC70. But I will give you a little foreshadowing here. It was well superseded by the next one.
This tower might not be achievable.
Good morning. I did not sleep all that well.
This is some of the most fun I've had driving, period.
Oh.
They say the reason it's closed to the public is because it's no longer safe to climb.
Really nice to see one that's actually active.
Look at that thing. Last week I left you all on a cliffhanger. The XC70 died right after I started it. Let's see if it'll start up.
That's mildly concerning.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen again. Let's get right into the episode. Actually, I'm really proud of that intro, rewatching it now. I can see why this video performed the best of the 4 at 771 views. Plus it did, you know, back up the intro with the actual off-roading. You'll notice that I teased the off-roading in the other intros, but it didn't actually come until part 4 here. And yeah, this is just my favorite one. This was the highest lookout on the trip as well. And the one before it, I think, was like the second highest or something. So this is definitely my favorite segment of the trip and my favorite video from the trip. And yeah, this is the next top 5 video. The next video that's in the top 5. I was just incredibly happy with how it came out. All right, and what do you do after you take a vehicle on a road trip with a experimental 3D printed lift kit installed? Well, you work on it, and so of course that's what we did next.
We recently took that Volvo you can see over there on a 3,000-mile road trip doing a lot of off-roading, and it's making a terrible noise that you'll be able to hear as I pull it into the shop. Not only that, but we're gonna be doing a couple of key upgrades that I noticed needed doing while we were on that trip. Let's get right into it, and I wanna get out of the rain.
All right, so even though I had like 4 weeks between completing the road trip and the last video coming up, I actually had to spend a lot of time editing those 4 videos. So this video I actually kind of had to thrash to get done, even though I technically had like 4 or 5 weeks between completing the road trip and needing to release this video. And I say completing the road trip, not completing the road trip videos, because that was sort of the issue. Those videos I put a lot of work into, and it honestly probably took me 3 weeks to edit those 4 videos. So out of all that, I barely even got ahead. And then this video took quite a bit to film as well, and I just barely got it out on time. Though actually I will say I had the next video that we're gonna watch after this finished before it. So that is sort of an interesting little bit of behind the scenes, but I really wanted to get this one up to come hot on the heels of the road trip itself. So I hope all that made sense. Let's move on to the next video, which is a video I'm really happy with. Oh, and if you missed this video, which you probably didn't because you're watching this, if I haven't mentioned, I drove around for like 1,000 miles with loose subframe bolts. That's crazy, dude. It's insane that I made it home. Anyways, on to the next video.
There you go.
Like a herd of turtles, we are off, aren't we, Menko? We got about an hour and a half, and we're just doing a normal campground camp tonight.
It's the poop and go.
I think she might have found her happy spot in the rear footwell there. I think this might have been the first video that I filmed after Menko went viral. And you can really tell watching it back because there's a lot more shots of Menko the cat. And this is also the first video I went camping with Menko completely solo, so I didn't have Leah to help me out wrangling her while I stuck my arm out the window to get a shot or whatever. And all that considered, Menko did great in the car, and I don't know that she really had the best time camping at this campsite. This campsite is a little bit windy, as you might know. And also, I think there was a little too much going on. We weren't quite as secluded as she liked to be. There was some dogs running around. So I don't think she had the most fun, but she really did do great considering that. Like, she just kind of settled down into her happy spot on the rear shelf of the Oldsmobile and had a good time. And I also had a great time on this camp. And this is one of those videos where something on YouTube that's sort of popular these days is just having a thumbnail of no text, no nothing on it. And this one ended up working the best for me. And it's just such a beautiful picture of the Oldsmobile, of the campsite, of the sunset. Anyways, I guess that's enough talking about this video, except for the fact that it's one of my top 5, and there is one more top 5 video I will tell you, and I don't remember if I have done 4 already, and if I've done 4 already, then that would make this the 5th one, and that would mean that it's a top 6. But this is my video and I can't remember. So if it's a top 6, then it's a top 6. But like I said, on to the next video.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I turn 28 in 2 days, which means I'm getting too old for this shit. But in 3 days, it'll be my 2-year anniversary of uploading my first video as part of this weekly upload series. It was titled My Name is Joel and I Have a Carcane Problem. 2 weeks later, yes, this was originally to be a bi-weekly series, I uploaded the second video, the first real content. I'm gonna talk about why it was bad and what I do better now while trying to avoid mentioning all of the things everyone else who's done a video like this has already mentioned.
I might have also told another lie. I think this is actually my worst performing video of the year at 55 views. So I didn't really expect it to do that well. It was sort of a video for myself. Just kind of reminiscing, it's been 2 years since I started making videos at this point. And it was also my first scripted video. I don't know if you could tell from the intro. I was sort of looking like this, filming a video like this. But I don't know. I just don't have any practice doing scripted videos. I think that if I took the time to memorize the script, it'd be fine. Or if I had a teleprompter even. But I don't have a teleprompter and I didn't take the time to memorize the script. And therefore I was looking at my phone the entire time. But I don't know. I'm kind of happy with this video. I don't know if I'm ever going to do something like this again. And if I do, it will probably be maybe less scripted, or I will memorize the script. It can't be me looking at my phone the entire time again. Oh, and speaking of looking at my phone, I forgot to mention how many views this video got, and it actually got 390, which is, you know, pretty good for my channel.
There you go. Let me unclip you.
And once again, we are off on a fire lookout adventure in the Volvo with Menko the cat in tow this time.
All right, another camping adventure with Menko the cat. This video got 243 views, and I kind of understand why it didn't do any better. The whole video is kind of anticlimactic. I mean, obviously we got to the big fire lookout at the end, but the first day I ended up just trying to visit 3 that no longer exist. And also, I would not bring Menko the cat with me on a trip like this again. Menko is definitely a destination camper, as in I want to be at a camp where she can be out of the car looking around, not just driving all day, you know? So this will probably be her like final, you know, fire lookout chain video, and in the future she'll just go to like one fire lookout and we'll go visit it, we'll hang out, and then we'll go home. The next video might get my award for the most underrated video of 2025. Let's watch the intro.
High refresh rate GPS modules have become exceedingly cheap in the recent years. This one, $140, and this can do a lot more than 0 to 60, but that's what we're worried about today. I am very proud of myself. I've managed to capture all 7 of the vehicles we have access to here in one shot. However, I'm gonna let editor Joel do the heavy lifting while I rattle off their names. From right to left, we've got a 2007 Kia Spectra 5, a 1993 Subaru Loyale 4x4, a 1984 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale, a 1985 Honda Shadow 500, a 2006 BMW Z4 3.0i, a 2007 Volvo XC70 with quite a few modifications, and finally a 2004 Ford Crown Victoria, again with quite a few modifications. All right, give me 20 seconds to run you down on these times and why I predicted them here. The BMW Z4 I think is going to be about the same as the Shadow, however I think it's easier to drive, so I think I'll do better with it. The XC70 I already did a 0 to 60 test to test out this GPS module on Patreon, as well as heading down to Mexico to do a 0 to 100 test. The Crown Vic, it's older, it's slower than the XC70, I'm pretty sure my butt dyno tells me that. The Spectra 5 I think is pretty similar to the Oldsmobile, but I think it's just newer, so I think it'll just be a little bit faster. And the Loyale is by far the slowest, and I think it's gonna get a time that matches the year that it was made. Let's get on to the test.
Yeah, I was really excited for this video, this project, although I will say I did the math and I ended up driving a lot that day. Oh God, I can't remember what the math was, but it was like something ridiculous, like 80 miles to go nowhere or something. But that's because I did 3 runs because I wanted to do it right. But the algorithm and the viewers did not appreciate that, and it only got 96 views, which isn't the worst, but is definitely below average. But I did have fun making it, and I look forwards to including a 0 to 60 test as part of any vehicle purchase video that I make in the future. And I'll have like stuff to compare it to. So this is one of my, it's not one of my favorites, but it's one that I really liked. And I'm disappointed that it didn't do better, but alas. Also, I was really proud of that intro, except for one thing. The lighting was awful. I'm trying to get better about that.
Welcome to this week's video. This is an exciting one. We're taking the Volvo XC70 on a 3,000 mile road trip, and that doesn't even count all the off-roading that we did. We stopped in Salt Lake City to see a Sum 41 concert, then headed down to Zion to hike the Narrows, then over to Arches to, well, see some arches as well as do that off-roading I talked about. This is the supercut of part 1 and 2, the entire adventure, all here for your enjoyment in one place. The car did great, but did give us a little bit of drama.
So yeah, if you're familiar with the channel, you know that this is actually a compilation. I guess I also said it in the intro there. But even though it's a compilation and it kind of performed kind of meh out the gate because my regular viewers had already seen it, it did still manage to get 587 views. It's just a testament to really how good this video was when it released. I believe the original two, part 1 and 2, have like 1,000 views each. And so I'm really proud of how well this has held up over time. And I really am constantly trying to kind of replicate the vibes of this video, which I think I generally failed to do on the road trip that I took this year. Though Moab, obviously, you really aren't going to beat that for off-roading in America. I mean, you might get better trails, but you won't get more clickability at least. This is my 2004 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. It has a 2-inch lift, it has skid plates, it has big knobby tires, and I actually told a lie there. It is not mine anymore. I sold it, I loved that car, but I was ready to move on. In this video, I'm gonna go over why and what I would do differently if I were to have another Crown Victoria experience. Let's get into it. So I was actually really proud of this intro and the thumbnail here, but no one really seemed to care all that much as it only got 73 views, which definitely puts it in the top 5 for the least amount of views of any video this year. This video was definitely more for me. I sold the car, I wanted to talk about why, and I wanted to include that edited compilation at the end of a bunch of different off-roading clips. Which if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, go watch it, but I'm not going to put it in here because I think that would be terrible for retention. But let's be honest, if you watched this far, you probably would watch that. But I don't know. I was really happy with this video. I was disappointed to see it do so poorly. Well, we have made it to the end of November here, and that means that we do the tradition that we've done every year for the past, 2 years. It's barely a tradition yet, but I edited together an off-roading compilation of the XC70, the same as I did in 2024, because I needed something to upload while I was gone for Thanksgiving, and that video did really well, so I thought, hey, why not do the same thing again? And so that's what I did. Okay, well, that's probably enough of that. You should go watch that video if you want to see the XC70 off-road, but there's not really an intro for me to show you other than just some off-roading. Now, this video did pretty well, one of the better of the past year. It got 1,000 views, and that's why I'm thinking to make it a tradition. Next year on Thanksgiving weekend, you can probably also expect a video of the Volvo XC70 off-roading. One thing I will say I would have done differently is you'll notice the thumbnail is snowy, and that was the best watch time of the 3 chosen by YouTube, by the viewers. I do usually make 3 thumbnails, and YouTube has an A/B testing feature, so you can figure out which one the viewers like the most. And this one won, is what I'm trying to say. And so I would have probably front-loaded it with a little bit of snowiness just to match the thumbnail, but I didn't know that this thumbnail was going to be the best, so oh well. But yeah, I like this tradition. We're going to keep it up next year, probably, assuming I do enough off-roading to make one, which in order to do off-roading, I need to make my camper better, which in order to make my camper better, as I talked about earlier, I want to get the Subaru fixed first. So a lot of steps to get there. Anyways, up next, another video that did not perform very well. Welcome to another episode of putting way too much time into this BMW Z4 that's very worn out. The handbrake doesn't work. We're gonna try and fix that. There's a bunch of interior trim that is broken and it costs like $300 to buy it new, which is freaking insane for a piece of plastic, as well as patching the top, which we're gonna get into right now, and then I'll show you the results later. My helpful assistant here, who has been looking kind of distant, he has the two solutions we're gonna try. One of them costs $5, that's gonna be our tenacious tape, and one of them costs $25. That's gonna be a combination of our canvas here and our rubber cement. Let's get right into trying to patch this top up, and like I said at the end, I'll show you how it lasted over the course of probably about a month. Yeah, the top is also making that horrible noise, which we are not going to address in that video, but if you know how I might fix that, leave a comment down below. So something interesting about this video is it was performing so badly, and if you're a regular viewer, which if you're watching this, you probably have been, take a shot every time I say that, by the way. Well, I can't tell you to take a shot every time I say something that I've already said a bunch of times. Anyways, so I made this thumbnail, and it didn't really help that much, but I was just, you know, throwing crap at the wall. But anyways, it only got 88 views, which means it's good enough to travel back in time, but not good enough to make much money on YouTube. But, you know, it was a bunch of more stuff that needed to be done to the BMW anyways, so of course I got to make a video about that. I just, of course, wish they performed better. I wish more people, you know, cared about this car here, because it's really just it's a good deal right now, even though my top has been making suspicious noises. On to the next video, which is the Thanksgiving road trip. All right, we are off on our annual Thanksgiving road trip with Menko the cat in tow, because she loves hanging out at the cabin. We've got to stop somewhere for lunch to grab her special made beer labels. And no, I didn't say that wrong. I'll show them to you after we grab them. We'll get that taken care of and get out of town. We're here, Menko. Yes, a cookie. This video got 161 views, which isn't too bad, but this is sort of what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned the fact that I didn't really used to make videos just on the holiday road trips because I didn't think they were that interesting, but this year I decided to do that, and right before this video goes up, you'll actually have also seen the Christmas road trip, and so I don't know how that performs yet, of course, but I don't know, 161 views isn't bad. The whole shtick here is, you know, we're road tripping with our cat for the holidays, and I guess it, you know, it did better than fixing the BMW, I guess, but not as good as some of the other stuff. So I don't know, I'll probably try to not really do the boring road trips again and instead try to do camping. Well, another thing is that this year we couldn't do camping on either end of the road trip because Leah was injured. She's mostly like walking now, but even at Christmas, I believe she wasn't really supposed to be walking on uneven terrain, which of course, when you're camping, there's a lot of that. So maybe next year we will do a bit of camping during Thanksgiving. We'll see. And then I won't do the whole road trip video. I'll just do the campsite they're in. But anyways, yeah, not too bad. It looks like the next one, this is the final top 5. I'm just gonna play the intro. Have you seen how much an off-road capable van costs? That's why we're turning this XC70 here and its cavernous rear trunk into a micro camper, because I already have this and I don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a van. Not only are we going to be turning this into a camper, but also a functional work from home setup, so I can work from anywhere in the wilderness, which I am so excited for. We need to get a false floor in here so we can bolt stuff to it, because I don't want to be bolting stuff to this car. I want this setup to be completely removable. First, we need to remove these child anchors so our plywood will lay flat. So considering that our platform is too wide for one sheet of plywood, I'm thinking we split it down right here, and then we can even add a hinge so it'll just fold over and still be all one piece. And then that'll also make it a lot easier to get into the car. Well, this project just got more expensive as I realized I'm gonna need another sheet of plywood. I cannot fit the other puzzle piece of this onto this platform, unfortunately. All right, let's give her an initial test fit. I did intentionally cut it wide. Oh, hey, now that's pretty nice. Well, unfortunately, it looks like the thumbnails did not get copied to the flash drive I'm accessing them off of to show them on this TV, so I'll put it up on screen instead. But I was actually really proud of this thumbnail. I went out and took it specifically, and Leah helped me with that. And I honestly thought this video might be, you know, my big break or whatever. But instead, it just did really well for my channel, and currently it has 1.2 thousand views, though the graph is still going up as I film this. So I'm really happy with this. I was really happy with this video. I let the intro play for a little longer because I'm just so happy with how quickly I got into the project. There's not really a lot of faffing about, none of that. It just right into, we have the plank here within a minute. So the false floor within a minute. So I was really happy with that intro. This is probably my, oh man, it's so hard to say. I don't think it can be my favorite video of the year because there are other videos that I had more fun in the moment of, but this is definitely, I made a post about this on YouTube, the one I was most excited to release because I knew it would be popular with all the people who like my Volvo. And I was also really proud of how the video came out and how the thumbnail was. So I was excited to share that with a bunch of people. And that brings us to one final video, which is camping out of this thing in its first form. And actually, I probably have a lot to say about this, so the video is not over yet. Last week, we turned this Volvo XC70 into a full camper, complete with a desk for me to work at. And this week, we're gonna take it out and try it out. We're gonna go camping. I'm gonna spend a full work day working out of this thing. Without further wait, it looks like he's taken off without me. I guess I gotta go.
It's currently Thursday and I just got off work, so we're gonna head about an hour and a half out to this campground, and it's definitely gonna be dark by the time we get there because it's just about the winter solstice.
Again, I haven't got the thumbnail for this one in person, so I'll throw it up on screen, but this is another video. Actually, rewatching it, I'd say the intro really was subpar, and maybe that's why it only has 183 views. I was really happy with the thumbnails I created for this one, and the video I think is good in itself. It just, I think watching someone camp out of their camper that they built isn't maybe as exciting as watching someone build it. I don't know. I obviously had to do it. I mean, I built it. I'm not going to not use it. But it got 183 views, if I didn't mention. I think I didn't. But I noticed so much in this video that was wrong with it. And that's why I wanted to make the build in many parts. It wasn't for YouTube optimization or whatever. It was because I knew I wouldn't get it right the first time. And so, for example, in the next installment of the build, I'm going to lift the desk up by, I think, about 3 inches, and I'm going to trim it so it fits a lot better and so I can get from the desk into the camper, into the bed a lot easier. I'm going to be adding a drawer slide with a little 12-volt fridge that I've purchased. I'm going to be insulating the camper. That's right. I'm sure there's other things I'm forgetting, but you won't want to miss that. Make sure to subscribe. I guess that brings us to the end of this video. My butt hurts. I need to take a leak. I just have got to thank you for sticking around this long. This was a really long video, I'm sure. I'm hoping I can get it under an hour in the edit, but we will see. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed reminiscing with me. Oh, and if you want to reminisce more, make sure to subscribe because there will be a daily walk compilation. If you're just a long form viewer, don't worry. I've edited it to be long form friendly, like horizontal friendly. And I think you're going to be really happy with how I edited it. Edited is such a weird word. But it's very satisfying to watch. I just sometimes when I'm watching it, because I've been putting it together over the year, I'll just kind of zone out and be like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. So yeah, make sure to subscribe for that, a daily walks. It's not a full compilation. It's just like the first 5 seconds on average from each video. And then there will be a full compilation on my second channel. But God, no one wants to watch that. It's going to be like 20 hours long. That's too many hours of Joel. And I guess, yeah, I don't think I told you to like the video, though you probably already have if you're watching to this point. Subscribe, like, comment. I think I told you to do that earlier. I don't think I got much else. I think I need to go take a leak and then bring this TV back inside because, oh, here, I guess I was going to show you, while the Endcards roll, I'll show you some behind the scenes of the setup. So this camera is just an action camera. It's an Insta360 Ace Pro. It's not good in low light generally, and I wanted the cozy vibe. And so I have this light here on low pointing directly at me. That was blinding me the whole time. I've got this lantern sitting over here, and I was getting reflection off of the white door and the white walls, so I have some black frisbees leaning up against it, so only I get illuminated. And then this Christmas light strand, I wanted it to look like I was using it as an extension cord, but unfortunately the plugs are polarized here, and also it might have blown the fuse, so I have a separate extension cord running it for the TV. The media was running off of the Xbox, and then all the thumbnails except for the last two are on this thumb drive. The second camera angle over here is my partner's Pixel 8, which actually appears to be completely full, so it stopped recording at some point. I'm sure she'll be appreciative of that. But I think that's about the whole setup. Again, thanks for watching. I really need to go take that leak. I will see you again next week for hopefully a camping video. And then after that, it'll be the Daily Walks compilation. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.